Hey guys, Pat here, and today we're working triceps, okay? So triceps is right here. It is actually an assister to your bicep, okay? And we don't get a lot of tricep work. There's very few exercises in order to target triceps. You do get them in push-ups because when you push up, you're tightening up those triceps. But as far as an exercise that targets nothing but your triceps, you kind of have to get real creative. So that's what we're going to do today. So what I have, and of course different levels again depending upon equipment available to you, is I have hand weights, okay? Now these, 3 pounds, trying to get it to turn there, I don't know which way it is, because it's backwards, right? So 3 pounds. Now I have done this exercise with as much as 12 pounds, okay? And I'm going to show you a two-handed version and a one-handed version. Okay, so depending upon the weight that you have is how you're going to pick whether you're going to use both hands or one. And we're also going to do different levels where I'm going to incorporate a stability ball and show you how to really target your core while you're working your triceps so you get more bang for your buck. All right? So what we're going to do, got our stability ball here, and this is what we're going to use for our bench. A lot of people typically don't have a bench in their house, okay? So you could grab a stability ball. Because in order to sit on this thing and keep it nice and neutral, it's forcing you to use your core. And I know I've said this before, that this can actually serve as your office chair. And then you're getting constant core contraction while you're sitting at your desk. Because you notice if you try to slump, then this starts to roll. And I've done this before when you're sitting there for quite a while. I have slid completely under my desk before. So chiropractor suggested this because what it does also is you don't have that back of the chair to lean back on. So you're actually having to engage your core to keep yourself lifted up. All right? So it's a great chair. Okay, even when you're sitting and watching TV. Not that I do that, but hey, some people have their favorite shows. So even when you're sitting there and watching TV, and then you can roll back and do abs during the commercials. There's so many opportunities for you to work out during your normal routine day. I mean, if you don't have that time to carve out, especially dedicated to working out, then you can do this, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do the one-handed version first. So say you don't have 3 or 5 pound hand weights. Say you have 8 or 10s or even heavier, depending upon if your husband lifts. He may have some really bulky hand weights around, okay? So you're on your ball. Now I want you sitting up nice and tall, okay? Chest is out, shoulders are back and down. You want a nice distance between your earlobe and your shoulder. So your one-handed version, feet are shoulder width apart on the floor, okay? Nothing from here down is going to move. It's all going to be just your hands. And you've seen these done if you've ever taken a weight class or a strength class, anything of that. You see people doing them in the gym all the time. Okay? Arms are going to come straight up overhead. Now notice how I always keep a slight bend in my elbow. That's so you're not rocking out those elbows, okay? Now what I want you to focus on here is making sure that your arm is right next to your ear. You don't want to be out here. You want to be straight up, okay? So when you look in your peripheral vision, you should barely be able to see your arms, all right? You have your weight, hands are stacked, and fingers are wrapped, okay? So you have a good grip on that. Hands are up, bent through the elbows, and all you're going to do is lower without letting those elbows go out, okay? So you want to make sure that you keep those arms almost like squeezing your head. It would be really impossible for you to squeeze your head without dipping your neck. So I want you to contract those shoulders, squeeze your arms in towards your ears, okay? You're going to lower and squeeze back up, leaving that tiny bend in the elbow. Lower down, and you can really feel that tricep when you squeeze in that lifting position. So lower, up, and squeeze. Lower, you're inhaling. Exhaling, push up, squeeze the tricep. So this is your single arm, not single arm, double arm, okay, with one hand weight. That would be your level 1. Now, you can use 2 hand weights, and what that's going to do, okay, you're going to have a little bit more strength and a little bit more control. So I want you to drop your weight. Okay, say you were using an 8 or a 10 pound. I want you to drop even lower to maybe a 5 pound. Because if you think about it, you're using both hands to lift that 8 or 10. So now you're splitting it into 2 hands. So you need to drop the weight so that you're not doing 8 on each arm. All right? So again, I have 3s. And I have used as much as 8 on this exercise, but it does get really challenging really quickly. Okay? So of course, start light. And then test yourself and slowly move up in about 3, 4, maybe 5 pound increments, okay? Depending upon what kind of weights you have is how much distance between you're gonna be able to go up and down on. Same method, wrap those fingers around the weights, thumbs are on top, and we're taking those arms straight up. Now this time I'm gonna close those weights over each other, okay? And they're straight up here. Arms are in again, slight bend in those elbows. Abs are engaged, squeezing those shoulders, setting up nice and tall, and then you're going to lower and lift. Again, inhale and exhale, squeezing those triceps, okay? Make sure you're checking that peripheral vision without turning your head, of course, and making sure you're keeping those arms drawn back, okay? Lower and lift. This is your double arm version, okay? Now, we're going to take it to a level 3. So this is where your stability ball comes into effect. So I'm going to roll out here to the side so that you can see exactly how my core and how my legs are. Scoot back a little because you know from yesterday's video when I roll out, I end up way over there and out of the frame. So I'm going to lower back. Now I'm going to use the one-handed version here again. Okay. Now this is a compound movement. Okay, because you're engaging your glutes and your hamstrings at the same time that you're going to be working triceps, okay? So you basically, again, you want that head supported on that ball. Your weight, fingers are wrapped again, so you got a pretty good grip on that weight. And hands are up overhead. Now this time, okay, this weight, and be very careful here, is kind of over your forehead. So if you were to lose grip on that weight, guess where it's going to go? Boop. Okay, so be very careful here. All right, hands are up. Making sure you got that straight line from your shoulder, hip, and knee. Don't let your hips sag. Keep that neutral alignment in your spine. Natural extension of your neck. And you're going to lower and squeeze. Good. Lower and squeeze. Now notice, okay, when I squeezing the tricep, my hand is not over my face, okay? So you want your elbows back and down. Good, lower and lifting. When you go to lower that weight, bring it completely past your face, lower down, and then use your legs to roll yourself up. Now, depending upon how long you were in that inverted position, roll up nice and slow because you could get dizzy, okay? Your head is kind of down, your blood is pooled down towards your head, so you want to come up nice and slow. Okay, on the double hands, again, you can have the weights together, or I'm going to show you an option to separate the weights, and that's really going to target those triceps, okay? Roll yourself out. Again, here's your version with the hands together. Now what you want to do here to get a better grip, sometimes I'll stack the weights, especially these neoprene weights, okay? And you want the arms back so that the weights are over the floor and not over your face, okay? Lower and lift, keeping those glutes engaged, right? Good, lower and lift. Now that version I was talking about where you separate the hands, okay? Hands are still back so they're not over your face. And I want you to lower, long range of motion here, and squeeze back up. So you lower, squeeze back up. Notice how those weights just touch the ball, and squeeze back up. So you want a big range of motion here, really getting deep inside that muscle. The more increased range of motion you have, the deeper into that arm you're working, okay? Now you want to keep that bicep nice and steady. Only thing moving is from that elbow to that wrist. And again, when you finish and get ready to roll up, I want you to slowly drop those elbows down so the weights are on either side. Walk those feet in and right back up. And then you can get rid of those weights. So, different ways to pick your level on this move, okay? And you're gonna have 4 sets. We're gonna do 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. So maybe that first level, you're testing out the move, okay? And you can do the single weight. And again, it's all gonna depend on how much weight you have. And then on that second set, okay, maybe go to 2 weights and hooking them together. Third set, maybe separating, okay, and then do it that way. And then your 4th set, depending upon how burned up that muscle is, you may have to drop back down a little, okay, so that you're able to complete your full set. You never want to compromise form for numbers. So if you can feel, you know, you're getting the shakes and you can't complete the move, I want you to maintain safety and maintain form. So if you're not able to push out all 12 or 15, lower your weight. Go to the 1 weight. Put your hands back together and do it that way. Even bring yourself to a seated position so that you have a little bit of your shoulder strength and go right back into that again, keeping those elbows in. And that distance between your chin and your chest. You never want to dip that head down. You want to keep that neutral neck nice and tall. Okay? So that's your triceps for today. I want you to, I'm trying to introduce you a little bit to a little bit of the strength training, okay, with the hand weights. This can get very tricky, okay, when you're doing dips on a bench, because what happens is people start to get tired and they start to do this. Then you're going to start pulling on those trap muscles, and you're going to get really tight through your neck and not being able to rotate that neck. So being able to use weights versus the bench, okay, and then as you get stronger going into that bench, because then you start incorporating body weight, and we all know our body weighs a lot more than a 5, an 8, or a 10-pound weight, all right? So that's it. There's your triceps for today. And I will see you guys tomorrow. My gosh, you're almost done, right? Get ready to do those measurements and those weight again, right? When you weigh yourself, don't be weighing yourself through this process, okay? I want you to toss that. I know you see it back there. It's back there in the corner. It's hiding. But just so you know, I never get on that thing, okay? Because it is very disturbing. Muscle weighs more than fat, right? And your scale may not move nearly as much as your tape measure is going to move, okay? So stay away from the scale. My 2 cents. I don't like them. Tell my clients not to get on them either, except for specifically when I tell them to get on it, and they don't want to, but they have to do it. Anyway, I digress. Triceps are today. Have fun with it. Let me know what level you picked when you post, and let me know that you finished up. Get your shake in you. That's the main reason for this challenge group. We're trying to get your nutrition under control, so make sure you have your shake. Okay? Now I gotta come over and shut this off again. Bye.